Okay, now I want to go over one of my favorite research subjects, which is communism. And I didn't really know what communism was until I came across Myron Fagan's Illuminati work. Uh, Formerly, I've been a alternative researcher, conspiracy researcher. I just consider myself more of a journalist. I tell truth and information that the news media is too cowardly to tell. I do investigations that the government and the police are too cowardly to do. And it wasn't until around 2005 that I discovered the work of Michael Tessarian. I went to prison when I was 19. I went to the penitentiary. I went through Jackson State Prison, which was the largest walled prison in the country. Um, so anyhow, so I went. I ended up going. Me and some guys stole some liquor out of a garage. The garage was attached to the house. It was considered home invasion. I was on felony probation. I got in some trouble on probation. Like, I violated my probation. And so I went to the penitentiary. I was 19 years old, and I only went for 11 months. Originally, I had 18 months, but I had so much county time credited, I only served 11 months. And then when I was in the penitentiary, I started learning about the Nephilim. And when I got out in 2005, I went on the internet and I typed in Nephilim. I typed in Nephilim, and I had started learning about the Maritime Admiralty Law when I was in prison from some of the black Muslim groups. A few white guys who were friends of mine who were older taught me about the Federal Reserve Bank and how the prison system's controlled as a racket and all this stuff. And so I went on, the internet. Back then you had Yahoo. No one even used Google yet. People still use Yahoo. And I went on Yahoo and I just typed in Nephilim, and I came across Michael Tessarian's work. And then through Michael Tessarian, around through between 2005 2006, I discovered who Jordan Maxwell was. And so I had been doing research even before that, though. I was looking up the Roswell incident. I was looking up a bunch of other research topics even before I came across the Nephilim. Now that being said, okay, I started researching into communism through Myron Fagan's work a few years ago, and I discovered that there's communism in America. And what I discovered was a lot of the advertisement is directed to white women and to black women in a communist manner. Like, they depict for black women to marry white men, and that white men are more upscale and legitimate, and that's how to be successful. Then they project to white women to marry, to have children by black men, and like sort of like a hip hop culture, like it's fashionable, it's cool, and the whole government's involved with it, the media's involved in it. And see, I'm mixed, right? And so my situation with my parents was a lot different. My mother and my father were married before I was born, and my father was an intelligent person. He wasn't, you know, the way my mother and my father had married and stuff was far different compared to a lot of people who are uh, compared to a lot of people who, like, a white woman, black man. It's not what people would expect. Like, this was a formal marriage, and then I was born, all that stuff. So anyhow, so growing up, growing up, I had mostly like a lot of black women when I was younger, older black women, a few years older than me. Like, when I was a teenager, like I'd be 15. I had black women that were like 19, 20 who took an interest in me and stuff. And so then I got older and I started hanging around Hispanic women, white women, Asian women, all different sorts of women. And then when I started doing this research stuff, I was looking at how advertisement is directed towards white females for interracial relationships. And the craziest thing was happening to me when I started actually going through contract stalking. They were using white women to drive around with black men, and black women to drive around with white women, as a way to mimic or mock my research, so to speak. But I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, like this is gonna sound vulgar or whatever, but it seems, I don't know. It seems like it's easy to get a white woman to suck your dick. It just seems like it's easy to do it. Like, it's not that it's not easy to get a black girl to do it, but it just seems like it's easy. It seems like a lot of white girls who grow up, like, they kind of reject the community they grow up in, and it's like you can get a white girl like to suck your dick easy, like that's nothing. And so, like, it just seems like society's bent towards that. And I don't know what it is, but I was doing my research where I was showing how like they introduce like they got white women who only care about how their ass looks, and they want black or Hispanic guys to like their ass and stuff. And that's the kind of research I was doing about the communism, and I was explaining to people through the advertisement all this stuff. Then I had a couple girls who were white talking about it on my show, and I thought it was interesting, like how I can sit there and tell some white girl she has, like, I could talk about her ass or whatever, and then out of that I can get a blowjob. Like, I thought that was interesting, but more interesting, I thought the advertisement that they display is communist related, and people don't know that the Communist Party, the communism took over the world. Like, Nazism didn't really last that long. Communism lasted much longer than Nazism, but the formal version of communism has failed. I'm going to put it like this. They need a model, like when countries around the world, foreign governments, want to pick capitalism versus communism, or having like an oligarchy or something, or they want a model, they want a displayed model. The Soviet Union became such a poor model. People say, I didn't want other countries to say, I don't want to be like the Soviet Union, And so communism, the historical version of communism, is long over with. And then back in the Soviet Union, they promoted race mixing a lot, Okay, so the formal version of communism is gone. But in America, you still have communism. Like with Obama, a lot of people didn't realize when people say change, that's like saying revolution. Like the communists would say revolution a lot. Revolution, revolution, revolution. Change is like the new revolution. Like they still do communism now, and they use the same communism slogans, but they do it in a way where it doesn't seem as threatening. Like they switch the words around. Right?